Here on Accidental Kiss, we try our best to do this. Analyze Asian dramas and not relive the trauma. Now that you know what's in store, just sit back and tune in more. Please enjoy our podcast, Accidental Kiss. Welcome to Accidental Kiss, a podcast where we analyze the representation, or lack thereof, in Asian dramas from the perspective of drama fans. My name is Faith. I'm a Black U.S. citizen living in Japan who was a little too obsessed with Asian dramas in her college days, but now is trying to rekindle her love for them through this podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Watanya. I'm Lao or Laotian, whichever term you prefer. I grew up with Asian dramas, mostly Thai ones, and I just really like talking about them. I really like analyzing them and their questionable representation, to say the least.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the second season of the classic Japanese drama series, Hana Yori Dango. Hana Yori Dango Returns.
Why didn't we group this with, episode 1 again?
Because I just realized how shitty Tsukushi's parents were after rewatching season 2. Yeah, I needed a break for that.
Can't really argue with that, can I?
Oh, yeah.
And, we wanted to talk about, Rui too,
right?
Oh,
yeah, definitely. Rui was my favorite when I first watched the series, and most of the time when I watched it. But now, not so sure about that.
Well, here we go then.
So before we move on, we will be discussing the entirety of many characters. So spoilers ahead.
Also, we will be discussing emotional abuse, parental neglect, bullying, manipulation, attempted sexual assault, fake suicide, and actual attempted suicide in this episode.
So, if you are sensitive to these issues, which is more than understandable, do prioritize your mental health and overall well-being.
So, Hana Yori Dango Returns is the sequel to the legendary Hana Yori Dango. But there were things that were added, taken away from the original, which we would like to talk about.
Especially because those things concern representation. So first, we would like to start with a summary of the series.
Yes, because context is very important. I just can't stress the importance of context here and basically everywhere. You just keep hearing me talking about it. And just so we have the basic info about Hana Yori Dango, it's about the romance between a quote-unquote tough girl named Tsukushi and a spoiled rich boy named Tsukasa.
So, at the start of the series, Tsukasa has been living in New York for a year, but stopped contacting Tsukushi after 3 months for unknown reasons. Tsukushi's father then, luckily, really luckily, wins a ticket to New York for one person at a company bingo game and gives it to Tsukushi.
Of course he did.
Company bingo game.
Of course. And of course Tsukushi goes to New York and has her bag with her money and passport and everything in it, stolen by a creepy looking guy.
Creepy. Yeah.
And then attacked by a group of thugs.
Quote unquote thugs.
With a basketball.
I mean, we're gonna come back. We're gonna definitely go back. We're gonna come back to that.
Who were later intimidated by Rui and his water gun.
Well, that's the New York experience. Well, Tanya, what can I tell you?
It sounds like a lie, and I know it's fiction. But well, this is what happened in the drama. Okay. And later, Tsukushi runs into Tsukasa at a hot dog stand.
As you do.
Ask her why she's here.
As you do in New York. You just run into everyone you know all the time, New York City. So long story short, Tsukasa tells Tsukushi that he doesn't have time to play on her level anymore because, he's too busy being a, billionaire as he was before, but now he's taking it more seriously. And Even after the other 3 members of F4 try to reason with him, he's still like, no, I don't want to meet with her.
He even punches one of his closest friends, but at the same time, like, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I think that's literally what he does. I mean, come on. In season 1, he literally just went on the streets and just started punching people. Like, I don't, not surprised. And so then Tsukushi ends up going back to Japan and gets kidnapped by a guy named Junpei, who is also a student at Eitoku, who for some reason she's never met before, or we never heard him. He was never mentioned before in season 1 or anything. But apparently he'd been going to school this entire time, I'm assuming.
And apparently he's good looking.
Yes, apparently he's very good looking, but he's able to hide it with glasses, because that's the thing, you know? Put on glasses and you're suddenly ugly. No one can recognize you.
And you're saying that as both of us are wearing glasses.
Yes. We are ugly right now, Tanya. We are ugly. Okay. And so he's at Eitoku and he has a grudge against Tsukasa. Surprise, surprise. And so, you know, to get revenge on Tsukasa, he kidnaps Tsukushi. He kidnaps Tsukushi because he's trying to lure Tsukasa back to Japan, you know, with her. But luckily, Tsukushi ends up actually escaping from the situation on her own. And then Tsubaki, Tsukasa's older sister, ends up sicking her bodyguards on Junpei and his goons. So, you know, girl power.
Before we move on, I just gotta say, I'm not surprised she ends up escaping by herself, because that, like, it sounds weird to say rope work. That rope work was horrible.
Do you know from experience?
It's like someone watched a YouTube video once and was like, okay, I'm gonna kidnap this girl and I'm gonna tie her to this random desk. And I was like, no.
Is this from experience,
it was
Latanya?
awful.
You know this rope work?
Yes, I have a very keen interest in being a sailor.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting to go there, but okay. All right. Let's go with that.
Okay, moving on. A little while after, like, you know, the whole Junpei thing, Tsukushi receives a personal invitation to Tsukasa's birthday party. From, I'm tempted to say the embodiment of evil, but it's Tsukasa's mother. Her name is Kaede.
Interchangeable. And also, hello, trap, it's a trap.
She doesn't know that because you know
so
she's Tsukushi and she goes to the party and because it's a trap. She finds out it was a trap to announce Tsukasa's new fiance Shigeru, and you know, drama happens, yada yada yada. Shigeru ends up falling in love with Tsukasa,
and Shigeru's presence causes Tsukasa and Tsukushi's relationship to have a lot of ups and downs. Obviously, you know, having someone in between them. So a lot of ups and downs in the relationship. And there's also a lot of miscommunication the entire time. But of course that would have happened no matter what, because that's all these dramas do, is just people just miscommunicate all the time. So it would have happened no matter what. Whoever's there, it's always miscommunication. And when they finally are able to express their love toward one another in a fishing village, long story. We'll come back to that later. Tsukasa ends up falling, bumping his head, and getting amnesia.
And by quote-unquote amnesia, in this particular series, it means, you know, Tsukasa conveniently remembers everything in his life and all the people in it except Tsukushi.
Very selective.
Why not?
Very selective amnesia.
And at the hospital Tsukasa was staying at, the series introduces a girl named Umi, who of course plots to steal him away from Tsukushi.
She's a woman. She's a girl or a woman in Tsukushi's vicinity that's not like too old, or his sister. So of course, like,
or Yuki.
Or Yuki, who's her friend, you know, her best friend, her childhood friend.
Yes. So Umi ends up lying to Tsukasa, saying she made the cookies Tsukushi left by the hospital bedside. Long story. And following Tsukasa's logic, Umi must be the girlfriend he had forgotten about.
I'm just so confused there, because how does he know that he had forgotten a girlfriend? Like, if he completely just forgot Tsukushi existed, like, why did he know, like, oh, but I had a girlfriend, though. Who was it? Like, okay. I'm sorry. It's just tangent, but I was just like, it makes no sense, makes no sense. Okay. All right. So later, F4, Tsukushi, Yuki, and Umi go on a ski trip
at Akira's family cabin. No actual skiing happens here. I just wanted to point that out. Like, no actual skiing.
There was snow. There was snow.
There was snow there. And in the evening, Umi gives Tsukasa some cookies that she actually made. And she's like, oh, these cookies are a little different from the other ones, trying to, like, I guess make him think that, like, oh, she made the other ones too still, but these are just a little different, right? And so he tastes the cookies, and, finds out they're not actually the ones that
He was
she
like,
made.
it doesn't taste like love.
Yes, exactly. They don't taste like love because she lied about it. Because the thing is, the cookies were originally made by Tsukushi, who had made him some other cookies or a cookie or something in the first season.
It was from like season 1, right? The ending.
Yeah.
Tsukushi gave him like cookies, and he was
of his
like,
face.
"Yeah, I love this."
Yeah, like with like his face or whatever cookie, and he remembers that taste of love. So amnesia can't take away the taste of love. Okay, and so he remembers these are not the same cookies, and he's like, what? Like and he gets all upset, and he's like, bish.
Like, we're under the explicit, like, what's the word again?
Category.
Category. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
You can say bitch.
Okay, bitch.
I
That's
plan
what he
to
says.
say bitch later.
That's pretty much what he says. He doesn't say that, but that's pretty much what he says. And so yeah, that's her scheme is revealed very easily, which I don't know why she didn't think this through harder, but okay, anyway. So before dinner, Tsukushi is looking for Yuki but can't find her, and Umi, being down in the dumps and also being an asshole, says that Yuki went outside in a blizzard. Later, it was revealed that Yuki is actually still in the house.
Soon after, like, Tsukasa also hears that Tsukushi went out in the blizzard, because why not?
Yes, everyone finds out.
And he rushes out to find her. Tsukasa finds Tsukushi, and then they spend the night together, like, and they like huddle together for warmth in a cabin until they were
for warmth,
rescued.
Watanya. For
yes,
warmth.
for warmth. They didn't even kiss.
Watanya.
I'm sorry. That's what happened. Actually, that's what did not happen.
Didn't happen. Exactly.
In the end, Tsukasa publicly proposes to Tsukushi, cringe, at the school prom.
Yes.
Tsukushi,
It's very much a surprise. Yes. It's very much a surprise.
She's like, what?
And the whole school is there. Whole school. And a bunch of people outside the school too, like her parents and like, just randos, like I don't know, like
probably like, stockholders from their
companies. Oh yeah. Like everyone sees this. Everyone.
But yeah, the show ends with them actually kissing on a date the next day. Like, I'm not sure. Like, if you're going so far as to propose publicly, like, why not just kiss then and there? They didn't kiss in the cabin. They didn't kiss when they...
when he publicly proposed to her in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, they were too busy doing the musical dance numbers with Tanya, okay? They all had choreographed dances they all could do flawlessly. They were too busy coordinating that to kiss. Well, Tanya, come on.
Excuse me, have you been a teenager before?
Yes, I have, Watanya.
Okay, jokes aside, let's move on.
And so that's the summary. That's what we have. So then, Watanya, what do you think the overall message of this drama was?
From a very, very meta viewpoint, I'd say miscommunication is a recipe for pain and chaos. Like, if I were in the drama, I'd like, God is on drugs.
Okay.
But yeah, from a meta viewpoint, that's the message I got. What about you?
I mean, I totally agree with that. Definitely, I agree with your message, but I also think that the message is the same as the message was last season, only turned up to 11. Like, it's dialed up to 11. If you work hard and stay resilient in the face of adversity, you will be rewarded in the end. That's just how it goes, it seems. But, you know, lately, after watching 4 versions of this show, like 4 versions of this story in less than a year, I wonder how healthy, I really do wonder how healthy that message it really is, actually, especially for young girls and women. Like, you're a high school student. She's a high school student, and she has to do everything on her own. She has to find her own housing. She has to work, like, multiple jobs to support her family. Like, her family
was homeless at one point.
Yeah, she
right?
was gonna be homeless. Like, if someone hadn't like, luckily someone found, like, I think it was what's her, well, we'll talk about it later, but like
Yeah,
oh god,
someone found a
Sada,
place.
I think, yeah,
Probably,
Sarah,
yeah.
Sada, yeah. She found a place that was free that she could stay in or whatever, and like, luckily, you know, but yeah, she's like pretty much homeless. Her family leaves her. Like, I mean, they pretty much
More
abandoned
like
her.
Her parents.
Yes,
her parents left them.
abandoned her. They abandoned
Left her with her younger brother.
Yes, to fend for themselves, okay? To fend for themselves. And so, I'm sorry, I don't know if this is a good message to teach kids. Like, I don't know. I don't think so, but okay.
Yeah, no. I don't think it's a very good message to, you know, teach, like, young, impressionable teens.
Yes.
Especially, like, you know, young girls and women, as you said, because Tsukushi is basically, like, being dragged around all...
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the whole series, I think.
Yeah. That's one thing about the second season I don't like, is that she just pretty much gets dragged around all the time. But she's the tough girl. Tough. Resilient.
Let's move on.
Okay. All right. We'll get back to that. We'll come back to that. Anyway, it's fine.
Let's move on to, like, you know, the what apparently makes us stand out, which is the discussion of representation.
Okay. All right. Let's start with gender. So, women are represented in a variety of ways this season, as they were last season.
Yeah, thankfully, but like there were changes. So
yeah, that's true.
Tsukushi and her best friend Yuki are shown as strong, self-sacrificing, and willing to do whatever it takes for love. But
love,
at the same time, quote unquote love, which is interchangeable with like hormones.
Let's put that on a t-shirt. Love is interchangeable with hormones.
If you want to, like, be my guest.
Or I'll do whatever it takes for hormones.
Oh my god, I love that. But yeah, on the other side, women who are not supporting Tsukushi and Tsukasa's relationship are, I think, all of them, selfish, manipulative, and overbearing.
Yeah, no, pretty much I can't think of a single character that's not that way, that isn't like
Sada,
team.
maybe?
Yeah, I guess so, but does Sada even really know Tsukushi like that, though? I mean, like, kinda, but like, not really. Like, she's not really that involved, and she had another F4 member that she was involved with, so I don't think that counts. But like,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
I guess
fair.
her, that she's it. Okay, so then we've divided them into 3 categories: the good girls, the actual extras, and the bad girls, of course. Gotta always have them. So the good girls are
Tsukushi. Like, why not? But like, honestly, she should rely more on other people. Because like, there was one scene that she like worked so hard and she like collapsed, I think.
Yeah. Yes. She had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, she was at the hospital where she was...
And she was working night shift too, and she has school and stuff to do too. Like, it was just a really bad situation.
Yeah.
But she had to support the family. And I'm okay. I'm sorry. I will get back to that in the other section. We'll come back to it. I'm sorry. I have so many words. I have so many things to say.
It's okay. I know. I just kind of like froze a bit there because I was like, she was at the hospital where she was, and I wasn't sure if it counts as sexual harassment because Rui...
yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Tsukushi first.
Okay.
She is tough as a weed and can endure anything. And,
Endure.
Yeah. Like, even, like, whatever happens in the drama when God is on cocaine.
That should be a shirt too. God's on cocaine.
And, she's, like, way too naive. Like,
Yeah.
she falls for every single trap.
Yes.
Every
Every
single
obvious
trap.
one. It's like I said before, the mean girls are always mean to her. They've been mean to her since the beginning. They've never actually been really nice to her, except for when they were being fake nice because, Tsukasa was there. But like, every time they tell her to do something, she always falls for it. She's always like, yeah, okay. Like, whatever they ask her to do, she's just like, yeah, okay.
And also, like, traps from the embodiment of evil.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently she's not like other girls, too.
Yeah. Quote. Not like other girls, quote.
Yeah, debatable.
Yes.
And, like, lastly, the thing I want to talk about Tsukushi is, like, the Valentine's Day chocolate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people paid so much attention to who she would give her chocolate to.
Yeah, I remember it was just so dramatic. It was like I remember even Rui, like he like goes to Tsukasa, like they have some kind of conversation because he's like because Tsukasa's being a dick in this version in this season. Well, he's always a dick, but he was always a dick. But he's even more of a dick now because he won't even like talk to her at first, right? Like we said in New York, he like totally ignored her or whatever. And so he comes back to Japan, and now he's decided, okay, I'm gonna be team, Tsukushi again, because like I don't know, hormones, I guess. And so like he's like, telling Rui because he had to be the support for her while Tsukasa was like, ignoring her. He's like, well, actually, I'm in love with Tsukushi, and so he's like, I'm going to pursue her since, you weren't there. I'm gonna step up, right? And then Tsukasa's like, don't you dare. And he's like, well, let's see who she gives her Valentine's Day. Let's see who she gives her Valentine's Day chocolates to. Like, I'm just like, what is this? What is going on here? Who cares? Like, I don't know. It was just, I mean, I guess this is what maybe teens worry about this in Japan. I don't know. I guess this is what they're worried about.
Yeah, high school drama.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, anyway, let's move on to Yuki, Tsukushi's best friend, who is the only woman who's not related to one of them, either her or Tsukasa, that she could trust. I guess Shizuka too. That's about it, right? Yeah. But anyway, Yuki actually gets a much bigger role in this season. So she's doing a lot more. She gets more scenes, more screen time. Also, she harasses Sojiro a lot more to try to get him to date her. I think the drama is like framing it as this like cute, like she's going to go get her man or whatever. But I'm just like, oh my God, please stop following him. Like he's literally like running away and she's still going. And I'm just like, oh my God, he doesn't want you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be with you. Just
Yuki.
move on. I'm sorry. Like I get it. You like him.
Sometimes you fancy people who don't fancy you, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's it's okay if you still want to have the feelings, but don't like harass him and don't follow him and don't stalk him and don't like run after him. Like it's just sad. I'm sorry. It's just very sad. And I don't know. I just really hate like the clingy girl stereotype, archetype, whatever trope thing. Like I just really don't like it. Like.
Yeah, it's a Buntai situation.
Yes, it's so like I mean I just feel secondhand embarrassment, and also it's just bad. Like it's just like she thinks if she keeps clinging on, eventually he's gonna turn around and like her. And I'm glad they don't. I'm glad he doesn't because like that's not a good message to teach kids. But at the same time, this is pretty much exactly what Tsukasa did. To get to Tsukushi, and it worked, right? It worked. So
and that's worse because they're the main couple.
Exactly. And so it's like the thing is, it's saying like, okay, clingy girls are bad, but clingy guys, okay.
No, not okay. Let's talk about like healthier people.
Okay. Some better people.
So, you might still remember Okami-san,
yes.
Shizuka, and Tsubaki. Shizuka is kind of like their childhood friend, and also senpai and Tsubaki.
So I guess she's, and also Rui had a crush on her, right?
Yes.
Before. But now he's moved on to Tsukushi.
Yeah. And Tsubaki is Tsukasa's sister, whom he has
Feelings.
has a sister complex.
Yes.
With
Sistakon.
So Okami-san. Actually, in this series, she tells fewer stories about her past lovers.
Yeah, which is sad because that was like the most interesting stuff actually in the shop. I felt like those were the good scenes.
Yeah, but now she's like just giving love advice to Tsukushi and Yuki, which like isn't necessarily bad. It's just a downgrade.
But the thing is, she tells Yuki to keep going after Sojo, even though he obviously doesn't like her. And like, it's just like, I get that she's trying to help her out, but it's like, no, Okami-san, no, she doesn't need to like keep going after him. He doesn't want her. He doesn't want her. If he did, he would say it. Like, you know. Like,
if I were in the drama, I'd look at Yuki, look her straight in the eye, and say, "It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen."
But then you'd be a hater. One time you'd be a hater, and then everyone would hate you.
Yes, hate me all you want.
You gotta spin those facts.
Speaking of downgrades, like Shizuka is like Rui's wingman now.
Pretty much. Like, I mean, that's pretty much all she's there for, is to like they have like a little meeting. Like, you know, she comes to Japan to visit, and she talks with Rui and has dinner or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in love with, you know, Tsukushi now." And she's like, "Okay, go get her, Rui," or whatever. And it's like, okay. I mean, I guess because she's getting married to some French guy now, right? So. There's no chance for them, so I guess he's got to move on, right?
Guy. I thought he had like some importance.
He was. He is. I think he's like, I don't know, what is he? Like, he's some kind of official, like, either
like a government.
Yeah, like, was he like? I don't think the president, but something like that, like something like really high up. But I just said French guy because I thought it was funny. Some French guy.
It was a French guy, to be fair. And Tsubaki, actually, she didn't change that much.
No,
like she's still like one of the biggest supporters of their the main couple's relationship. Mm-hmm. And apparently she had a similar relationship in high school.
Yeah, we find that out in this season that I think that's why she's such a strong supporter, because she had the same experience, but
she supports hormones.
Yeah, but her like love interest or whoever, her boyfriend, I guess, wasn't as strong as Tsukushi, I guess, because his family just took the money. And
I don't blame him.
I do not. I don't blame him at all. I'm sorry, but like looking at all the stuff that Tsukushi had to go through for this show, oh no, I would be like, give me that money. Just give it to me. Give me that money. Oh, I'll sell out. If it means I can, like, you know, not have my parents leave me and, like, maybe my brother alone and have to, like, fend for ourselves and, like, find a house and, like, and still go to school and work and do all, oh god, no.
Nah.
Just take the money, Mom.
Just take the money. Let's leave this, like, dysfunctional family.
Yes, it's a very dysfunctional family. But obviously, so is Tsukushi's. Anyway, so now, speaking of Tsukushi's family, let's move on to Tsukushi's mom. And also, I would like to talk about Tama-san, who is, like, totally cool. So Tsukushi's mom is overall supportive, like she was in season 1, and kind, you know, but also she's kind of passively neglectful, and she agrees with almost everything her husband says or does. She's just like, yep, just gonna support him. It's like, okay, we're gonna leave our kids here by themselves to go to the fishing village. Okay, see you guys. Take care. You know, she's very happy about it. She's always has a smile on her face. She's always usually pretty happy, except for if it's like really bad, then she'll have a sad face, I guess. But for the most part, she's pretty upbeat and happy. But she's literally like, you know, it's literally Tsukushi had just got out of the hospital. And And she comes home and her family, they're packing their bags to leave. And she's like, where are you going? And like, he's like, oh, didn't you hear? It's like, how would she have heard? She was literally unconscious. You were in the hospital there. How could she know? Wouldn't you know that you told her? Like, you guys left her, abandoned her in the hospital because Rui was there. Apparently that was enough for you to be like, okay, I guess we'll leave. And then as soon as she gets out, you're just like, okay, we're leaving. We're going to Fishing Village and we don't know when we're coming back. And it's like, what? What? Excuse me? Like, yeah, so she's very nice and kind, I guess you could say, but very emotionally abusive, honestly. I mean, and like neglectful. I mean, come on. Like, no.
I was gonna say pushover, but it doesn't.
Oh wait,
feel
yeah.
right.
Also a pushover to it, a bit of a pushover, I would say, definitely. But also her husband too is kind of a pushover, but it's just like they both just like, you know, they support each other, which is nice, I guess. But
I'm
like,
sure it's a codependent relationship.
yes, he's very codependent.
But we'll talk about
Yes.
that a bit
We'll get
later.
back. We'll get back to that. So then I also want to talk about Tama-san, who is strong, you know, like I said, cool, big supporter of Tsukushi and Tsukasa's relationship, and is so badass that even Kaede can't mess with her. Like, even Kaede.
Tama-san was like, I wiped your ass.
That's how you know they got you. They're just like, yeah, you can't say anything to that. And the thing is, I think it's because, like, obviously, Kaede, you know, Tsukasa's mom, married into the Domuji family, right? So she's not actually originally a Domuji, whereas like Tama's been there since, like, you know, before Kaede even came in the family. So she just can't say anything to her. Like, she's just like, she's outranks her, right? You know, like, it's
basically.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I thought that was pretty cool when she stood up to her. Like, so.
Yeah, I think so too. It's refreshing to see someone stand up to the embodiment of evil.
Yes, someone's gotta.
Before we move on to like the important-ish characters, we gotta talk about like the actual extras. Like, they're characters that have names and a lot of lines and kind of impact the story, but they're more like extras.
Yeah, like they have, they're extras, but like they do play a very interesting role, and I thought they had some very interesting representation, and so that's why I wanted this category to be in here. So first we start off with Sara Hinata, who we mentioned a little bit before. She's kind of an elevated extra in that she does have an important part in the story. Like, there is an actual subplot that is, you know, quite important to the story that she's a part of. So she used to be Sojudo's one of the F4 members' former, I guess, lovers or girlfriend, something, maybe
undefined
crush.
relationship.
Yes, very undefined. Like, I don't know. It's very vague. It's very vague. They're just kind of like, we sort of dated, kind of. Oh, but I always thought you liked my brother actually, or something. Like, it was very strange.
It was interesting.
It was interesting. And so she does the tea ceremony just like Sojudo, you know, she's into tea ceremony, and she heads the tea circle that Yuki joined to find out more about Sojudo's interests, because she wanted to learn more about him, so I guess she could stalk him better. And
she was the one that found Tsukushi's apartment, right?
Yes, she did do that. So she did, that's right. She did some good. She found the apparently free apartment. I mean, it was kind of run down, but like still, like, she found a free apartment.
It was free, so that was nice. But also, like, Tsukasa bought it like 2 days later.
Yeah,
like,
that wasn't so nice. Yeah.
Nah.
And then he ended up with like getting in a fight and ended up breaking like breaking like they fell through the floor or something.
Oh God. That is how run down the apartment was.
Yes. People probably shouldn't be living there.
But yeah, so Sara is like an elevated extra, but like the actual extras are like the girls and women who like swoon over F4 and like, and this is including nurses who should be working.
Have jobs.
As well as like the people at the tea ceremony, like after class
circle or something
that
club.
Yuki joined, and There was
Oh.
one particular,
Oh, yes.
extra.
I want to
that
talk about
stood
this.
out.
Yes. I want to talk
Mhm.
about this nurse. Yes. Okay. So I really made this section because I really want to talk about this nurse. Because like there was just like because I didn't remember her because she's such a small part, right? And so I didn't remember her from previous watch throughs. And so this time when I was watching, I was really trying to focus on all the details I could. And I noticed this nurse. There was like this really judgy older nurse. I guess she was probably like the head nurse or something, right? And she was like getting really slut shamey when it came to Scushi. She was like really slut shaming her. She was like, when she saw that like, Rui was coming into her room and like Rui was the one coming and like, trying to push himself on her. She was getting all in her face like, oh, well, what kind of relationship do you two have? And like, it's like, first of all, ma'am, like, he is like a college student, like a first year college student. How old are you, ma'am? You're definitely at least in your late 40s, probably 50s. Who knows? But you're definitely older. Who cares what relationship a first year college student and high school student have with each other? That does not concern you, ma'am.
Mhm. Yeah,
Ma'am.
and like she's there for work.
Yeah.
She's not supposed to be asking personal questions.
Yeah. And also, Scushi is the actual patient. She's slut shaming the patient and like and she says nothing to Rui about it. Nothing. Doesn't give him any flack because he's so attractive, I guess. So she doesn't care, right? She's just upset that it wasn't her that he was on, I guess. I don't know. It was just really weird and it made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And speaking of weird, like I don't want to say this is weird, but we gotta talk about Akira's mom and twin little sisters. Apparently they act too childish and is the reason why Akira likes older women. Like, people can do whatever they want to do, but to have it portrayed as like, oh, this is why Akira has like older women issues, like, huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just seems like they're trying to blame the women on everything because it's the same with Tsukasa, right? The reason why he's such an asshole jerk and like does whatever he wants and beats the shit out of people all the time is because he was neglected by his mother, Like she didn't pay attention to him, and so that's why he's so broken. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure that influenced it. I mean, it's definitely neglect and definitely abuse, but to like use that as an excuse of why, like, be like, well, it's her fault. They just find a way to blame the women. And it's like, oh, well, he likes older women because of his mom. Like, it's like, it just feels like it's putting the blame on these women. It's like, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's definitely in Tsukasa's mother. Like, in Kaede's case, she did like emotionally abuse her child a lot. She is in the wrong there. But to say like, okay, that's why he's like beating the crap out of people and like does have no remorse and like, teasing or well getting other people to tease and like physically attack people to the point that they quit the school, that you can't pin that all on Kaede. I'm sorry.
At least the father's got to take responsibility.
Yeah, give him a little bit.
He
like,
also neglected him.
Exactly. Give everyone a fair chance. Don't just say it's like, and the thing is, even with the parents, it's like, okay, yes, they are partially have some kind of, I guess, blame, you could say, but are we really going to like say like, oh, if someone does something bad, it's only because of their parents? Like, I mean, he has no responsibility whatsoever. He has no agency of his own. I'm sorry, I can't get behind that.
Yeah. Well, here comes our very interesting character.
Yes. So this is so she is like kind of an extra pretty much in this version, which is kind of sad because like I feel like she was a very complex character that could have used more time and a lot of help. So Sakurako comes and does like a kind of brief cameo. Well, a few. She does like I think 2 cameos in the show. One in the beginning, one in the end. One in the beginning and one in the end. So in the beginning one, she comes just to tell Scushi that she has a Australian boyfriend now, pretty much, and also that she saw Tsukasa in New York or something, just so she could know. Oh, by the way, he's in New York. I saw him. So she gets she's promoted from bad girl to just kind of extra. And then And then I don't know, is that a promotion? Maybe, I don't know, actually.
I really don't know. She was moved.
She was moved from being a bad girl to be an extra now. And then she comes in again at the end, when Tsukasa does the, like, you know, surprise, like, in public proposal in front of the entire school and all these randos. She comes to that. She's invited to that as well, and she talks about how unattractive and not cute Tsukushi is pretty much the entire time. And I'm just like, why are you here? Like, why?
Go on a date with your boyfriend. Or
Exactly.
whatever.
What happened to your white Australian boyfriend? Where is he? Go back to him.
Oh my god, the scene where they introduced him was so weird and cringy. It was just like cut to you know, the entrance of the dango shop, and the guy was just like, "Hi."
Look, I got a white boyfriend. Look at him, Scooshy. Look at him. Hi. All right. And so now let's move on to, like, the current bad girls.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with bad girls. Yeah, because, like, many of them are interesting.
Yes. Yeah, so the first one is, like, we were kind of torn whether we should call her a bad girl or not, because, like, she's not, like, you know, bad to the bone like Kaede, but she is very manipulative, and so she's kind of a mixed character more so, but we put her in the bad girl, like, you know, because we think overall she did net negative for the series. So first up is Shigeru Okawahara, who is pretty much the female version of Tsukasa, only a little less physically abusive. So yeah, like I said, she's not as physically abusive to others, except for to Tsukasa. She, like, you know, physically assaults him a lot, actually.
Yeah, she bit his
Yeah.
ear.
Well, that was I don't know. I don't know if that was supposed to be abusive or not. I don't know.
I don't know.
What that
It was an interesting encounter
yes.
between the two of
that
them.
that one was interesting. But there is a lot of times where she's just, like, hitting him and, like, you know, just doing whatever, you know, to him.
Yeah, and also she sexually harassed
Oh
him.
yes. She literally was like, have sex with me. You better have sex with me. My clothes are off now.
Yeah.
Have sex with me.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah. And so she's super clingy, super needy too, even though she's supposed to be, like, so strong or whatever. She's also, like, really needy and clingy. Like, but the thing is, so is Tsukasa, though. That's the thing is that that's why I feel so mixed about characters, because, like, yes, she is very abusive. She is very manipulative. She is very, like, you know, she has a lot of bad qualities, but they're pretty much all the same qualities Tsukasa has. But for some reason, we're able to forgive those and move past them and accept him because he's the main guy. I don't know. That seems to be the only reason. I don't know why else we would, like, forgive him and not her. You know, she also won't take no for an answer. Like, Tsukasa's, like, you know, he does agree to try and date her and try and like her at one point, but then, you know, he goes back on that pretty quickly.
Because she's not.
Yeah, pretty
squishy.
much. Like, if you're not the main girl, the main guy's not gonna like you. That's the moral of all these dramas. If you're not the main girl, you're just not gonna get chosen. That's it. And so, yeah, he doesn't actually really try that hard. But at the same time, if he says he doesn't like you, he doesn't like you, you know? But she won't take no for an answer, which is very much like him, though. Because Tsukushi at first was like, I don't like you. I'm not interested in you. I don't, you know, I like Rui, or I like, you know, not you. And he would take no for an answer. It was the exact same situation. So for some reason, when he does it, it's totally fine. But when Shigeru does it, it's bad.
Before we move on to the rest of the representation in this episode, we would like to take this time to thank all of you for listening to our podcast. It really means a lot to us.
If you enjoy our show, please consider rating and reviewing us on your favorite podcast app. It would really help our podcast reach a wider audience.
And we would also just love to hear your thoughts on our podcast. It will help us know what we're doing well and what we could improve. And also, it'll make us feel less like speaking into the void.
So leave us a review today on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Accidental kiss. Now, back to the podcast. So, yeah, that was kind of like in like the in between.
Mm-hmm.
But
mix,
like, yeah. But now we also have like actual bad girls.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
bad.
First of all, returnees, the mean girl trio. That's Yuriko, Minako, and Erika. And
I'm glad you remember their names.
I had to look them up, but yeah, it's those three and the embodiment of evil, Kaede Domyochi, if you forgot her name.
Mm-hmm.
We've been calling her like the embodiment of evil since like
yeah since the beginning,
episode 1.
Yeah.
All of them are still catty. They're still mean
and petty too, real petty.
You know what?
Just so petty.
Yeah. Like it was like at one point, Squishy like wanted to study to become a lawyer, and they were like, "Oh, you're studying because you got dumped." Like, like, bitch, I study because I want to be a lawyer.
It's like what? Like, what are you doing? I mean, I get it. They're rich. They don't have to actually work ever in their lives. As long as they marry, as long as they're beautiful enough to attract a rich husband, they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to be a lawyer. They don't have to worry about working. I get it. Like, that's their life. So for them, I guess it's like to the point where it's like, well, if you're studying, you must be like ugly, right? Because you can't get a hot, like attractive, rich guy to take care of you.
Yeah, but like they're still mean and still be fake nice when they know Tsukushi's with Tsukasa.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
they still have that two-faced aspect about them.
Oh yes.
But like, for some reason, even after everything that happened, like, everyone's chill to have them on the dance floor, like at Tsukasa's proposal to Tsukushi, and they were congratulating her.
Yeah, it was weird. They were on the dance floor. I was like, why? You're not friends. You're not friends. I mean, I know she doesn't have any friends in that school, but like, come on, them. Really? The first thing I would do is be like, please remove them from my dance floor. That would be the first thing I'd do after I got proposed to a billionaire. I'd be like, yes, security. Please remove these three.
The embodiment of evil wasn't on the dance floor, thankfully.
No, she wasn't. Well, I will say this. I think that this portrayal of the embodiment of evil, Kaede, or this character, was the most like, I feel like satisfying with her ending, because like I do feel like this is how she would be. She would be like, okay, like we'll discuss this later, but like the way she ends up finally accepting Tsukushi is, because it ends up making her some kind of financial gains, which makes sense because that's all she cares about. And then even though she's kind of accepted Tsukushi, she's still not like to the point where she can, feels comfortable going in and celebrating with her and like, pretending like, nothing ever happened and she doesn't hate her or whatever. And I think that's totally fine, because I think that's very realistic. I don't think she would be like, okay, now we're cool, and like just like go on the dance floor and hang out with everyone. Like that would be I would be very creeped out if she did that. It would scare me.
Oh my god, you should because I'm not gonna watch like Meteor Garden.
Yeah,
but
2018.
Like, yeah. 2018. If you want to talk about the portrayal of her in that version at some point in this episode, I'm fine with that.
Well, I will do it right now because I don't think we're gonna really talk about like her like portrayal after this, right? I the reason why I say this is because I recently watched Meteor Garden 2018, and the mother character in that one, like as soon as she like sees that like the that Tsukasa character, the Chinese version, has like, has a business strategy that can like, make sure they continue to be obscenely wealthy. She pretty much is just like, okay, I'm gonna retire now. I'm not gonna do any more work. I don't want to work anymore. And she like falls asleep for like weeks apparently, because she's just so tired from working all the time. And then she wakes up and she's like in bed with like her daughter, like the Tsukasa's character's sister, so like the Tsubaki character. And she just looks so like, well, she's like she's just like so well rested, and she just like turns around and she's like got a smile on her face, and I'm like this is the person we've seen scowling the entire drama. Now she just looks well rested, she's smiling, she's happy, she just doesn't care, no cares in the world anymore. And I'm just like, what is this? What is going on here? This is scary. This is terrifying. I was terrified in that scene. Like I was horrified. I was like, what is going on? How does she go from like completely 100 to 0 like in like less than a second? Like it was like literally like, okay, I guess I don't work anymore, so I have no purpose. All right, I'm going to just sleep, and now I'm a good person because I don't have to work. I don't know. It was just weird because like there was also a scene after that. Spoiler alert, I guess, if any of you are planning to watch Meteor Garden 2018, but like she ends up like also cooking breakfast for Tsukushi and like the Tsukushi and Domiji characters, because she just decided, even though she has a freaking mansion with like a bunch of servants who could cook for her, she just decided she wanted to do it because I guess that's what moms do, right? And she just was bad at it, because she had been working all these years, and so she hadn't, I guess maybe she had learned to cook, but she forgot. I don't know, but she just couldn't cook well. And they were making fun of her for not knowing how to cook, right? And like the drama was saying like, oh, look, she can't even cook. And so like, I don't know, it kind of sent this weird message where it was like, oh, well, see, when women work too much, they get all mean and bad. And so now that she's not working, she's nice and friendly. And also they don't know how to cook anymore. See, working is bad, women. Don't do it. Like, I don't know. It just felt like they were saying her working was the reason why she was such a horrible person. And now that she's not working, she's okay. She's totally cool. And then she's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go travel now. And it's like, so all you needed to do was not have to work, and that was it? That was it? You need a vacation? That's all you need to not be a total bitch? Like, oh my god, like seriously.
It would be worse if she spent like all that resting time with her husband, because it would send a very different message.
Yes, it's like, oh, this is all she needed. This is all she needed the entire time.
She just needed vitamin D.
Oh my god. What's on here? Thank goodness this is like explicit rating.
Oh, it's the very reason I can make this joke.
I'm glad you made that joke. Well, anyway, the point is, I thought this portrayal of the mother was much more realistic. Yes, she's decided to allow Tsukushi to get married to her son, but she's not gonna act like she's a good person now, right? She's still a bitch. She's still like, I don't like you, and I think that's way more realistic. I'd rather that than like this weird 180. Like it's very scary.
Yeah. All right, let's come back to like the characters in this actual series.
Okay. Okay.
I think next up is Umi.
Yes. So Umi Nakajima is also a really horrible character. She is very emotionally manipulative. Also a gaslighter. Like, yeah, she like totally gaslights people. Like she like totally gaslights Tsukasa because she has amnesia, and so like tries to make him think that like, for example, like we mentioned, like she made those cookies for him when she didn't. Tries to pretend like she was like her, that trying to pretend like she was his previous, like his girlfriend all along or whatever. Like totally gaslights him. Like horrible. And then also abandons her quote unquote friendship with Tsukushi, which was very short lived. It was literally like
it was like 3 days.
It was like 3-day friendship. It was really not much. But the thing is, she came on quick. She was like, "Oh, I've met you. You're a woman. You're a girl here with me too. Oh, let's be friends. We're friends now. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna steal your man." Like it was just like so quick. Like it was like, yeah. So their quote unquote friendship, she abandoned it. For a man, of course, for a guy, because that's what all girls except for like Yuki and the people who are rooting for Tsukushi and Tsukasa do. Like, that's what they all do. That's what all other girls and women do. And also, she literally almost kills Tsukushi by lying, like literally almost killed her by lying to her about Yuki's location, telling her that she was out in that blizzard when she actually had no idea where she was. And instead of being like, well, I don't know, like a normal person, she instead decides to lie and tell her to go out in the blizzard. And it's like, I'm just like, what was her plan? Like, what was her plan? Did she want to kill her? Was she trying to like, well, if I can't be with Tsukasa, no one can. She's just gonna like kill her.
Nah.
She's gonna straight up
uncool.
Straight up kill her.
Oh.
Alright. Okay, so before we wrap up with the representation of women, I want to mention Ayano Kuromaki. So she was actually a girl from season 1 that we didn't mention because, you know, she was just so minor of a character. I forgot. But I just want to mention her because I felt weird not mentioning her because she was like one of the few like characters that actually had a name that we did mention. And so I just want to say she was in season 1. She was Tsukasa's fiance, apparently, who we never heard about until like the last 2 episodes. She was like shoved in. Just actually, this is very similar to the meme that I put up actually yesterday for our meme Monday.
Yeah, I remember.
Like she was a plot point that got kind of shoved in at the last couple of episodes just to make some like tension between Tsukushi and some other girl, because you know we haven't had enough of that in the series, so we got to add another rival, another random love triangle, even though Tsukasa had no interest in her. But anyway, apparently she was engaged to him. Her winning, I guess, was like winning his heart, even though he still was gonna choose Tsukushi no matter what. So I don't know what the point was. But anyway, they had some kind of rivalry.
We don't remember her, but we remember Umi for one reason. Umi tried to kill Tsukushi.
Yeah, she literally tried to kill someone. and you know how she gets redeemed, Watanya? Do you remember how she redeems herself? Well, she says she's sorry, which, you know, is a start. It's a start. But then, like, when Tsukushi is trying to, like, get to the graduation or whatever, the parents, I think their, like, van or car or something gets, like, stuck in the mud. And Umi comes out of nowhere and like helps them push it out of the mud, and then she's just like, "I'm so sorry about what I did," and like Tsukushi's like, "It's fine, don't worry about it," and she just goes, and it's fine.
I remember now.
It's fine, Watanya. Even if you try to almost kill someone, don't worry. Just tell them that you're sorry. You're really sorry,
and you won't do it again.
And you won't do it again, and then they'll forgive you.
Oh my god.
That's all you gotta do. That's it.
Yeah. Wow. Just the women, like, I think we spent like 45 minutes talking about
There's a lot. There's a lot to say about these women.
The men are a lot too. So yeah, let's discuss the representation of men. This season, thankfully, they're also represented in like a variety of ways. Because it would be weird to just have like dull men surrounding the thing. So one large change that the series implemented was that Soichiro and Akira get bigger roles. Like Soichiro has his own like subplot.
Yeah.
And
moving on up.
I mean, Akira, like his role is bigger but not as big. Like
no, he didn't get his own subplot.
Yeah, nah, it was just like, this is my family and this is why I like older women. And also here's your backpack.
We were all dying to know, why does he like older women?
Oh my god. And yeah, Rui's character has become a bit more complex, and he's actually like one of the largest reasons why we kind of want to talk about this more in depth. Not just Rui, but also like Tsukasa. Like there was character growth a bit, but like it was there. It was small, but it was there. Yes, get your mind out of the gutter.
It was there. There was a little growth. So we've separated them into 3 categories as well: the good guys, the complicated one, and of course, the one. Let's start off with the good guys.
So in this series, Soichiro actually becomes a good guy. First of all, he had his own subplot, as mentioned. He has a past love.
Yes. Love something.
Hormones. Who he thinks like spurned him, but like it turns out she was actually going to confess her love to him.
Miscommunication.
And
Miscommunication.
yeah, and this comes back to like blame all the girls, because this is seen as like at least part of the reason why Sojiro became a playboy.
Yeah, there's so much blame on women in this show. God, I didn't even realize how much it was. Yeah, there's at least 3. Actually, it feels like every F4 member has a woman to blame for like their problems. Oh God.
And Tsukasa, because he's the main lead, he has 2 women to blame.
Yes, exactly. He gets double the trouble.
And like Sojiro and Yuki was like the most awkward couple, quote unquote couple ever. Yeah. Like we mentioned before, like Yuki was basically just harassing him, and he's just like
he's trying to be nice, but he's also like, because she's Scooshy's friend, so he's trying to be nice and like he's trying to be friendly, but at the same time he's like, I'm not interested in you. And Yuki's like, I gotta try harder. And
like apparently in this universe, like your importance is as a man, like can be shown from whether or not you get into fist fights with Tsukasa.
Yeah.
Because Sojiro has a bigger role, so he has to fight with Tsukasa.
Yes, he does get a lot of punches thrown at him. Yes, yes, that is true. That's true. Yeah. Fist fights solve everything, right? That's the way to be a man.
Debatable.
Yeah. Well, this is what the show says. Okay, and then also we have Akira, who also has been, I guess, promoted to good guy. And he, like we said, he gets a little bit more of a role, but he's still very much kind of like a background, I would say. Like, as far as the main cast goes, he's kind of secondary. But he is seen as the most mature F4 member. He does, like, try to resolve all the fights. He's usually the mediator. Let's all get along, let's all kumbaya, right? But which is interesting because he's like the mafia brat. Like his whole thing is about like fighting, like his whole family business is like fighting and like harassing people and stuff. But he's like the most mature and like is like, no, we can't fight amongst friends, So that's very interesting. Also, he always is able to predict.
Yeah, it was interesting. To watch.
Yeah, definitely. And he was also always able to predict when Kaede has something more sinister up her sleeves. Like every time something would happen, they'd be like, oh, okay, we're good, we're fine. He's like, oh, but she's planning something else. This is definitely not the end. He was always like, he always knew like something else was coming, right? So he seemed to be the more perceptive of, I guess, the F4 members. And also he's not like, he's not like fighting over some woman or girl or someone. His hormones aren't as I guess kicking as everyone else's.
It's because like almost everyone in like this series is like
yeah, that's true. He only wants the like married women. So yeah, there's him and Okami, they don't really talk anymore really that much in this season. Yeah, no. I guess they found that was like too creepy.
Even they
realized
wow.
like they were like, oh, maybe this is not good. So he and all the other members of F4, except for like maybe Rui, think that male friendships are very sacred. I've noticed in these series, actually this is in all the versions, they really uplift like the male friendship. Like, oh, it's like, yeah, other friendships are fine, but like the male friendship is the most important, and we have to uplift that over women. Girls, we can't fight because our male friendship is the most important thing in life.
Bro, I love you, bro.
Yes,
but I gotta date this chick to prove that I'm not gay.
Yeah, pretty much. This is how I prove I'm not gay. I love you, man.
And speaking of like creepy, there's also Susumu, which Susumu is Tsukushi's younger brother. So he has kind of like an older younger brother dynamic with Tsukasa. And it's long story. So this is because Susumu like is like in love with someone, and Tsukasa's like, yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to get all the girls.
even though
And,
Tsukushi's the first girl he's ever actually dated.
yeah. And like, then he gets like a makeover from F4, but without Rui.
I guess Rui just doesn't know how to do a makeover, I guess.
And apparently Tsukasa's method is involves like, you know, confessing and like being straightforward with like your feelings is good, but like Susumu practiced that on like random old ladies. And like I'm not sure if they got the old lady's consent yet.
No, I'm pretty sure the old lady was like, what is happening here? I mean, the old lady probably was like, okay, it's a cute little boy, so I'll let it slide, right? Probably. I'm sure that's what the old lady thought. Like, oh, this cute little boy is saying he has a crush on me. Oh, that's cute. And then just like ignored it. I'm assuming.
Or maybe it's, makes me feel young again.
Yeah, oh god. That would be also kind of creepy, but okay.
That is actually creepy, I'm sorry.
Both are creepy.
Yeah. And after all that practice, you know, he goes to confess his crush. And, like, it didn't work out. He cried.
No. Yeah, well, but I think that's good, you know, it's showing boys crying.
Yeah, I think it's a good, like, message to send, saying like you can cry if like it's painful that your crush doesn't have the same feelings, stuff like that, which was nice. But
and also a lesson that Yuki could have learned from Susumu.
Oh god, yes. Maybe Tsukasa should have taught Yuki.
Yeah, do some training on old ladies.
But at the same time, like, Susumu doesn't have his own agency, really. He just kind of goes along with whatever his family and Tsukasa says and does.
Especially Tsukasa. He, like, listens to him way too much. Ugh. That's not good. That's not good.
Tsukasa was like, go study in my room. I'm gonna stay in your apartment with your sister. Just the two of us. But go study in my room. And he was like, yes.
Oh my god. And he just like, okay, yes sir. And it's like, whoa, okay. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be one of those overprotective brothers who are like, oh, I gotta step up for my sister's pride or whatever. I don't know. Honor or whatever some guys say. I don't know. But I'm glad he didn't do that. But at the same time, it's like he's obviously trying to like get close to your sister and like and you're in the way. That's
like visibly uncomfortable.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's like it doesn't matter how uncomfortable she is. Everyone's like, well, he's your man, so who cares? You should be alone with him. It's like, oh, okay. All right, sure. And speaking of problematic, let's go on to Scooshy's dad, who, you know, also, is pretty problematic. He's nice, just like the mom, nice, but very problematic. Like, he can't provide for his family, which, you know, hey, the system, it's not great. It's not great. You know, if you're already at the bottom, it's pretty much almost guaranteed that you're going to stay at the bottom. And for most people, like, that's the reality. So I can't, it's so sad, but like, you know, so I can't really blame him. I can't say like, oh no, he's a bad father because he can't provide for his family, because it's like, you know, if he's getting laid off on his jobs all the time, and if he just can't get hired, and especially if the embodiment of evil is literally like, you know, not letting him work, what can he do, right? You know, he's trying his best. So, you know, I'll give him slack on that. He's trying his best. But he does have a good heart also. Apparently, according to Scooshi, he has never talked badly about anyone before. Apparently, ever. That's what she said in one of the scenes. And so, like, it's like, yeah, he's not like a great breadwinner. He's not the most competent guy, but he has a good heart and he doesn't talk bad about people. Except for that time he slut shamed Scooshi in season 1 for, like, you know, staying out late. You know, besides that, apparently he's never talked badly.
Like, yeah, I deserve this.
Of course, I deserve to be slut shamed.
No.
And
Go on.
Oh god, it's horrifying. So yeah, not a great breadwinner. Pretty much fails at every job. It seems like every job he just doesn't get, like, you know, he's just not really good at it. And like, even the fishing, he can't even do the fishing right, apparently. Like, I remember them saying like he couldn't do the fishing
seaweed,
job.
I believe.
Yeah, he couldn't get any fish, and so pretty much, so they had to end up just hanging up seaweed. Like, so he couldn't do pretty much all the jobs. Even though I think fishing is pretty hard, but like, you know, jobs that people would consider to be basic, right? Stuff that like you should be able to learn how to do. He can't even do those kind of jobs. And then also, like I mentioned before, he and his wife leave their teenage kids in Tokyo to fend for themselves and doesn't even really tell them. Like, I mean, well, maybe he tells Susumu, but he definitely didn't tell Tsukushi. And they just like, oh, we're gone, we're bye. And then they come back to like congratulate Susumu on his tests, like passing his test, I think, or something. But then he just, ends up leaving again. They end up leaving again, like immediately after that.
Yeah, nah, they were not great parents.
No, they were horrible. They were horrible parents.
And, speaking, well, I don't think this is problematic actually. But like, it was interesting to see Nishida as an ally. Like, he's like, yeah, I totally support you two. And whenever Tsukushi's in trouble, like when she like collapsed, he like secretly told Tsukasa. When Tsukushi was like, why is he so weird? Nishida's like, yeah, so long story short, someone tried to commit suicide in front of Tsukasa, and that's why he is kind of troubled.
Well, he thought that they actually did commit suicide.
Oh my god. We'll get back to that, right? Yeah.
Yes. We'll talk about it later.
Apparently, he thinks that the Domyoji group should be led by someone with compassion and a kind heart, but the current leader is the embodiment of evil. And I don't know why he is still working there.
You got a lot of questions, Nishida. We got some questions for you.
If it were me, I'd be like, no, bitch.
Yeah, I would just quit. But I guess he feels like he needs to stay to be an ally for Tsukasa, right? He needs to stay with him, probably, or something. He's probably like trying to work it within the system.
Good for him.
He's probably one of those people, I think. And speaking of trauma, so Ken Uchida, the person who we just mentioned, so he is mostly seen through Tsukasa's flashbacks. He befriends Tsukasa when Tsukasa's studying abroad in New York, and I believe he was like the manager of like one of some kind of, I don't know, construction site or something that is under the Domyoji group. Yeah, something like that. And so he ends up losing his job due to the Domyoji company layoffs, which actually is due to Tsukasa like saying a bunch of like horrible crap about his horrible mother. And the news hearing about it, and then like people, I guess, lose trust or faith in like the Domyoji company, and then the stocks plummet, and so then they have to lay off people apparently. So it is kind of his fault that he loses his job. But the thing is, though, he's about to get laid off, and he does get laid off from that job, but Kaede ends up propositioning him and asking him to like pretend to like go into financial ruin and then pretend to commit suicide. So, and then after that, he goes into hiding in Japan, where where Tsukasa can actually find him. And like he makes his own company in secret, apparently, or his own business or something. But yeah, he pretty much gets paid off to commit suicide and make Tsukasa think that like he's dead, and that it's due to Tsukasa's big mouth. And so his quote unquote suicide haunts Tsukasa throughout the majority of the series. And then finally, when Tsukasa finds him, because he's in freaking Tokyo.
Yeah, like if you're going into hiding, at least go somewhere else.
Yeah, don't go where you know they
Osaka.
are. Exactly, don't go where you know they are. Like, come on. And then like he finds him. He finally finds him. Apparently, he finally finds him. I don't know why he didn't find him sooner. But anyway, and he tells.
And it was like at a crosswalk.
Yeah, it was at a crosswalk. It was literally like the most random place. It's like you haven't crossed here before. I'm sorry. Like I don't know. It's weird because, I mean, honestly, it is Tokyo, so it is possible they might never meet. But it's like people always meet in these dramas, so it's like eventually he was gonna get found out. But anyway, so when Tsukasa does find him, he pretty much runs him down. He hunts him down. He's like runs after him, and then like he forces him to tell him the truth, and so he tells Tsukasa the whole story. And he finds out that his horrible mother is even more horrible than he thought.
Oh my god. So these are the good guys.
Yes. Is Kid a good guy? I don't know. Actually, now I'm thinking we should have reconsidered that category. Okay, all right. We'll leave him there.
Okay, yeah, let's move on to the complicated ones who were not good enough to be in the good guys category.
Fired! Blast fired! Shots fired! Okay, so this character was hard because he used to be my favorite, Rui. So I noticed in this season in particular that, Rui acts very emotionally manipulative and controlling. Like, very much so throughout this through most of the series, pretty much. He surprise kisses Scushi on her freaking hospital bed. She's like literally recovering from like being unconscious, and he's like, all right, it's time for me to make my move.
I do not understand that logic.
She's weak and vulnerable now. I gotta get her. Guard down.
Oh my god. This is only slightly better than get her drunk before kissing her.
Oh my god. It's a little bit better. At least she wasn't drunk. Oh god. Okay. And then, Rui and Tsukasa fight over Scushi pretty much. Like, Rui's like, I'm better for her because you're shit. And it's like, well, yeah, Tsukasa is shit, but like, so are you. You're also really shitty. I mean, you're not as physically abusive as him, but when it comes to emotional abuse, he's pretty bad. Like, it's pretty bad in this season.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It made me very uncomfortable. How much he just kept forcing himself on Scushi and being like, oh, like, you should choose me because I'm here for you. And it's like, well, what if she doesn't want either one of you guys? Like, I mean, could she just not want you? Like, I mean, come on. She doesn't have to choose.
Yeah, and Rui can't just... he can't just be like, I play the violin, like me.
I play the violin. I'm a quiet, introvert who possibly has some kind of, like, I don't know, maybe I'm on the spectrum. I don't know. So I don't know.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But, for now, let's move on to Junpei. Mm-hmm. So Junpei is the guy that was quote unquote ugly because he wore glasses
Oh yeah, the guy
in school.
No one recognized him. No, he was the Clark.
No, after
kid.
he took off his glasses, everyone was like, "Oh, he's so handsome." And like, to be fair, like the glasses thing, I get it. Like, sometimes people don't recognize other people when they don't wear glasses, but like, that is a bit different from taking off your glasses and looking really attractive all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you would still be attractive. You would just have glasses on.
And TMI, like, I think glasses are cool.
Yeah, no, glasses are very attractive.
Yeah.
That's like, there's
God.
totally a thing
like
for
we
that.
had
There's
this
like a glasses
conversation
category.
before. Okay. But so
moving on from the
glasses.
glasses
I'm sorry. Tsukasa apparently, like, I wouldn't say it was like something Tsukasa personally did, but the red card system that Tsukasa came up with.
Oh no, I think for this one, I think he did personally do. I think for this one, I think he did actually do it himself. I think so. I think he actually, from what I can remember, like, at least in the anime/manga, that was the case. I think he actually did this.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I wasn't really listening.
Oh my god! Well, Tanya, we're literally doing an episode about
doing the evil monologue, and who wants to listen to that?
Like, I don't even remember either, though, honestly, even though I watched it very recently. But like, I know in the manga, at least in the manga and the anime, he definitely, like, it was Tsukasa himself who actually beat this, like, was it his brother or his friend? I think his friend or something.
I think it's his friend.
Yeah, his friend. Beat him almost like in an inch of his life. Like, he beat him so bad that like, he had to be hospitalized, like, and then they tried to sue him, but because they're so rich, like, they just paid him off, right? Like, because they didn't,
Hashtag capitalism.
Yeah!
Yeah, for all of the above reasons, Junpei hates
Which we
Tsukasa.
totally understand.
But at the same time, yes, we understand that, but we don't condone his action. because he was
Oh, God, it
really
was so creepy.
manipulative. He put the red card in
Mhm.
Squishy's locker, and then he was like, "How dare you hurt her?"
Yes,
Remember the
yes,
food
yes.
court
He
scene?
was acting really dramatic, he was like pretty much trying to make her think that he was her only like friend and hero or whatever. Like he was the only one on her side.
Yeah.
That's what like abusers do, right?
And then later,
Of course,
kidnaps
everyone,
her,
because
'cause
that's
why
what
not?
everyone does. That's what you do. That's what you do for the main lead in this series. You have to be kidnapped at least once every couple of like episodes. Like I think that's just like I think it's in the contract. Must kidnap at least once per season. At least.
Yeah, but like, I can't move on from the rope thing. It was horrible. It
I
was
love how
so
that's the
bad.
worst thing you have.
gotta
It's
see
like,
it.
It's like, yeah, the kidnapping, the beating, the like, whatever. That's bad. But no rope work. Insulting.
The moment I saw that, I was like, yeah, she's getting out by herself, and she did.
Oh my god! You would think with all these like thugs.
I'm sorry, no, that
You would
will
think with
not
all
hold
these
a
thugs,
boat.
he like thugs or gangsters or whatever who he hired. You think they know how to tie some rope, like, or like know how to do some stuff? Like,
Yeah, they've at least like arranged the cords of their like.
I'm sure they've done a few
TV or something,
kidnappings
right?
in their their work. Like, I mean, this can't be the first one, right? Like, oh my god. Okay. So yeah, like for me, I totally I wish that the Junpei character had been handled differently, because like his concerns and his like hatred for Tsukasa was totally understandable. But the drama just wanted him to be bad because, we got to make the, main guy good. So, like, how do we do that? Okay, we have to make him a total asshole, too. And it's like, no, this could have been done with so much more nuance. It could have been a more interesting, more, like, less cartoon villain story. But, like, they just didn't want to do that. So, anyway, and last is the one and only Tsukasa.
So, where to start?
What's on the list?
Tsukasa, when I suppose they're a couple, so when your girlfriend is sexually harassed by your friend.
The thing is, he's like ignoring her first, and then he's like, "Oh, but now I love you again, and now I don't." Like, it's like I don't even know if they're actually dating anymore.
That's like happening throughout the series. It's like in the beginning they're like, "I love you," and then in the end they're like, "No." Or maybe it's the opposite. Can't even remember.
Each episode's different.
But yeah, when your girlfriend,
quote unquote girlfriend,
is quote unquote girlfriend is sexually harassed by your friend, like a normal person would be like, "Are you okay? Do you want to stay away from him? Do you want me to keep him away from you?" But no, Tsukasa slut shames her.
For being kissed when she was like literally hospitalized. She had nowhere to go.
Like, why'd you let him kiss you?
She had nowhere to go. She didn't know he was going to do that. She literally had fainted. She was unconscious, and then she woke up, and then he was like, "Hey, hi, now I'm going to kiss you." And it's like, what?
Yeah, like, Tsukasa, dude, you saw her in the hospital. You saw her, like, being so tired that she
must have wanted it. Well, Tanya, why else would he kiss her? She must have been asking for it. Look what she was wearing in the hospital. I don't know what she was wearing. I don't remember what she was wearing. But anyway, like I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think of this weird logic.
She was wearing
Look at that hospital gown.
Super sexy.
Yeah. She was practically begging him.
Oh god.
I mean, that's why the nurse slut shames her too, right? Like, oh god, it was your fault.
Let's move on from the hospital one. Cause Tsukasa is said to like act according to his instincts,
they say it throughout the show,
which
all the time.
Yeah, which like I'm not sure if this is to say Tsukasa is an animal,
like an animal,
or
right? Because he remembers the food, right? He remembers the cookies taste,
yeah.
but he doesn't remember his girlfriend.
And he doesn't remember logic. And like, yeah, he remembers the weird cookies, because that's apparently the way to his heart.
Yes, it's to
or
cookies.
Maybe to every man's
Yes.
heart. I don't know. Not a man. And he also forces toxic masculinity on Susumu, but thank God he didn't tell Susumu to just keep bugging like the girl that Susumu was in love
Even
with.
though that's what he did.
Yeah. Like, thank God he didn't tell Susumu to do that. Susumu would have been in the complicated category.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that would have been horrifying.
Yeah.
Harassing that poor girl. That poor little girl. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And, like, I'm glad that didn't happen despite Tsukasa saying, you're a man, so you gotta make up your mind. Even if you mess up, you can't depend on others.
Says the guy who's, like, never worked a day in his life.
Yeah. God. If this were a video, like, people would see me eye roll, but...
So I know you guys can't see us, but my our eyes are rolling really hard right now.
Yeah. Just listen to our tone.
Yes.
And yeah, the last thing I would like to talk about Tsukasa is this really cringy thing that hopefully only happens in dramas.
No. I'm gonna tell you now, there's plenty of YouTube videos that show real life instances.
Oh
but,
my
okay.
god. I hate public proposals. Please don't. Please don't. Listeners, please don't.
Unless you've already talked to your, to be, and fiance, spouse, maybe spouse, I don't know, but at least fiance.
Yeah.
If they are like, or they have publicly, they have blatantly told you, like they have like directly said, I like to be proposed to in public. I would love that. That's really romantic for me. If they've said that, okay, fine. If they said that, or if you've discussed it, fine. But if they've said nothing, and you're just like, oh, I gotta surprise them, please don't do that. Please don't.
Yeah. Like, if you, like, already talked about, moving in, or if you have already moved in and have had that conversation where it's like, maybe marriage would be a good choice, do you think? Because, like, you get, like, some benefits, right? Like, from marriage. If you've had that conversation. And it's, like, literally the day before you go to, like, the city hall to get
married.
Like, to get married. If it's literally like that, like,
fine.
Yeah, maybe
if
that's
they're
fine.
into it, because they still might be embarrassed to like have you say it in public, though. I know I would be if like someone did that to me in public.
Me too.
But it depends. That's the thing. We can't tell you like not to do it at all because like some people might like it.
Some people like it.
Some people like it. Some people like the attention. Some people like doing it in public. Some people want that like grandiose kind of proposal. And so if they're that type of person, okay, fine. But just don't assume that every woman or person wants to be proposed to in public, surprise, and a surprise proposal in public, please, like, because maybe they don't want to marry you. You might find out the wrong way. You might find out the wrong way. It puts a lot of pressure on the woman to say yes because everyone's watching, right? Like, ugh.
I'm reminded of Tawachai.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh yeah! Oh my God! Well,
Sansani was like,
embarrassed him though. She embarrassed him. She was like, nope. That's why she's my girl.
Oh,
I love Sansani. Oh my God. Okay.
But miscommunication, right?
Yes. For pretty much the entire series, the real, for both genders, for all genders, okay? All genders. Miscommunication equals everyone suffers for no reason.
And that's the end of the first half of Hana Yori Dango Returns.
Please continue on to the second half, where things will get more intense.
Either way, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks a lot. To make sure you're always up to date on our latest episodes, please subscribe to or follow Accidental Kiss on your favorite podcast app and YouTube.
If you would like to contact us, please email us at kiss.accidental@gmail.com.
Also, please follow and reach out to us on all the socials. We would love to hear from you.
Let us know if you have any other Asian drama series you'd like to hear us cover on the show. Your suggestion might make it into a future episode.
Stay tuned for the second part of this episode, where we'll be continuing our discussion on the representation in Hana Yori Dango Returns.
Until then, see you!
See you!
Stuck in an elevator. so she can get the guy. The reasons above and more are why. The way we feel about Asian dramas is just so complicated. It is so complicated. Complicated.